All right, so let's talk about how I was able to stay consistent on YouTube for 5, almost 6 years now and never miss a single upload, and how you can do it too, even if you're a busy business owner that doesn't have any time or you work a full-time job, et cetera, right? This is how it's done. And there's really a few phases to this. And the first phase is to just very simply accept the fact that you need to upload consistently. This isn't saying I should upload consistently. This is saying I will upload consistently. Okay, it's not a choice. It's something you have to do. It's kind of like going to the gym. You have to make it non-negotiable. Really good example of this, somebody who did something relatively artistic, is Jerry Seinfeld, and he would write jokes every single day, right? He did that for like decades, literally decades. He would write jokes every single day, and he's probably, if not the highest paid, one of the highest paid comedians of all time, right? So he did the thing that like basically made him good every single day, right? Now, I'm not saying you have to upload a video every single day, but I am saying that you need to be consistent when it comes to uploading on YouTube, right? And you might think like, oh, well, it takes so long to make a video. How in the world can I consistently upload on YouTube if it takes a lot of time? Like, I don't have time. Well, you actually do have time because you can make videos without spending that much time making them, right? And that's what I'm going to get into here in a moment. But the first thing is just to accept the fact that you must upload consistently. Now, bare minimum, you need to upload once a week. Now, I have been uploading consistently now for probably about 5.5 years, at least 3 videos a week. And a lot of the time it was actually more than that, but at least 3 videos a week for 5.5 years now on my main channel, Shane Hummus. And I haven't ever missed a single day, right? Ever. Now, how did I do that? Well, first of all, I made sure to make it a priority. It was a non-negotiable. Like I had to upload videos. And then in order to make sure that nothing basically came in between me uploading videos, I had to always make sure that I was at least 2 weeks to 4 weeks ahead. So 2 weeks to 1 month ahead at any given time. Always, no matter what. I would never dip below being 2 weeks ahead, ever, under any circumstances, ever. All right? So 2 weeks to 1 month ahead, always at any given time, no matter what. And so when things happened, when emergencies came up, I always had a cushion of 2 weeks to 1 month, sometimes even more, so that I could ride out those emergencies, right? Now, I mean, I can't emphasize how important this is. You always need to work ahead. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that, by the way, those videos that you make, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to put those videos out immediately. You could make videos that are sort of like evergreen content that you can just put out whenever you have the time. And certain types of videos, if it's like a news update or something, obviously that's not evergreen content. So with that type of video, you would need to put it up immediately, but then that takes the slot for a different video that you can slide back and it's more evergreen content and you can upload it later on. So that's one of the biggest things, is just you need to decide to upload consistently. In order to do that, so that life gets in the way sometimes, you need to always be at least 2 weeks to 1 month ahead. And then whenever it gets down to that 2 week point, you need to start feeling that pressure, like, oh crap, oh my gosh, I need to make videos, right? That's when you start feeling the pressure. The last thing in the world, you absolutely cannot do this where you need to upload a video the next day. That's just not going to work. Like it just doesn't work. You can't do that, right? Something's going to happen. Something in your life is going to pop up. And unfortunately, when you lose that momentum, right? When you consistently upload for a month or, even just a few weeks or a month, you start to feel this momentum. You start to feel very happy with yourself. Like, wow, I've been consistent. And the last thing in the world you want to do is break that streak, right? It would feel terrible to break that streak. It's kind of like if you went to the gym for a long time, you don't want to break that streak, right? And so if you are uploading, like, making videos for the next day, it's the streak is going to get broken. You need to work ahead. It's extremely important to do this. And there's a psychological thing about just continuing on with something that you're doing and just being consistent. Consistency is a powerful psychological concept. And this is why Jerry Seinfeld, for instance, he would write a joke every single day, no matter what. It was absolutely just a non-negotiable. Okay. So now the next thing you might be wondering, because we've talked about the fact that you need to be consistent, the fact that you need to work ahead in order to be consistent. Now, the next thing is, how do you do that, right? How do you actually make content, to the like efficiently, essentially? Well, the first part of doing it is you want to batch record. So you definitely want to be batch recording your content. So this is where, instead of, making a video one step at a time. So a typical video would go something like this. You would, you'd come up with the idea, then you'd write the script, then you'd record the video, then you'd edit the video, then you'd upload and optimize, and then you'd launch. That's what a typical video would look like. And all of those different steps, they basically require sort of different skill sets, and they require you to be wearing different hats, so to speak, right? So, some of them are very creative. Some of them are very analytical. Some of them are very, detail oriented. Some of them are more kind of just more on the creative side, where you don't necessarily want to be detailed, right? And if you're constantly switching tasks, like putting on different hats, it drains your energy like nothing else. And so what's much better to do is to just focus on one task, for instance, writing scripts or coming up with video ideas, until you've come up with several of them, sometimes even up to like 12. Like, I like to do 10 to 12 at a time, typically, right? So I'll take a few hours and I'll come up with, 10 to 12 scripts, write a bunch of them, maybe an hour, come up with 10 to 12 ideas instead of just doing one idea at a time. And a lot of the time I'll come up with like 30 ideas, and then I'll pick my 10 to 12 favorites, right? So that's another thing, is when you do this, you actually end up being more selective as well, because you see all the ideas right next to each other, so you're able to easily compare them to see which one's the best. And so batch recording is just significantly more efficient. If one of the first people to bring this to the business world was Henry Ford. Before he came along, you just had one person that would make the entire car, and it would take them like a month to make a car because they were doing everything on their own. And this person had to be insanely highly skilled in order to make a car. Then Henry Ford came along, and he basically was just like, okay, I'm going to use an assembly line, and I'm going to have people that don't need to be insanely highly skilled. And, there might be like 100 people, and they all do one or two little things. And then at the end of the assembly line, you have a car. And all of a sudden, okay, now you do have 100 people, but now you're able to make 1,000 cars a month instead of 100 cars a month. And you're able to do it with less skilled people, right? So it's just an absolute no-brainer, right, to batch record things. Additionally, like, a lot of the time when you kind of get into something, like, let's say you're writing or you're recording videos or you're editing, that kind of thing, a lot of the time when you get into something, it takes you a little bit to get in the flow. Like, many times when I record, the first video I record, I'm not really in the flow. I'm not quite feeling it. I'm not, that good at talking to the camera. But then once I get in that flow, once I start recording, like maybe the second video, the third video, the fourth video, all of a sudden I'm in the flow and I can just talk very easily. The words come out perfectly. I'm able to get my points across. I'm able to come up with stories, analogies, etc., just on the fly. And it just becomes much more natural, right? So, and it's the same thing with the other things, writing scripts, coming up with video ideas, etc. You kind of get in the flow, right? It's almost like there's a certain part of your brain you're using, and it takes a while to get like locked in on that part. And then you're using that perfect part of your brain for the task at hand. But it takes a little bit of time to get locked in on that. And so that's another reason that batch recording is really, really important. Now, additionally, on top of batch recording, when you're first trying to get ahead, and any time that you are close to not being 2 weeks ahead, you need to lower the quality or the time that it takes to make your videos. Now, there's a few things you never want to compromise on. There's really two things you never want to compromise on. Actually, three. There's three things you never want to compromise on when it comes to the quality of the video or the time it takes. The idea. You need to make sure you're making videos on good ideas, right? Use the icon method. I've talked about this many times in other videos. It's the best method for finding ideas for videos because you're basically making sure that supply and demand is in your favor. So the idea needs to be good. Two, the actual content itself must be good. Like the value that the content delivers, it must be good, right? You can't just like, I think this is pretty obvious, but you can't just like say some BS, right? Like clickbait people and say some BS. You actually need to give them valuable content. Now, value is subjective, obviously. Different people find different things to be valuable. Some people might like, data and scientific studies, and then other people, they would find that super boring and they're more into motivation. But you do need to make sure that your content has a value proposition and it delivers on that value proposition. And then the third thing is you need to make sure it reaches minimum viable video standards. Okay, so this is very similar to the minimum viable product in the product world, creating businesses. You need to make a minimum viable video, meaning there's a certain threshold of quality that you need to meet. And you need to meet that threshold. But then anything above that threshold doesn't matter that much, okay? So just as an example, you need to make sure that your audio isn't annoying. It's clear. There's not a bunch of noise in the background. My air conditioner was just making noise a few moments ago, so I turned it off, right? So there's not a bunch of noise in the background. You need to make sure that your background isn't too messy, right? There's not a lot of crazy lights going on or like a messy bed or, just like something that doesn't look good in the background, right? You need to make sure that your face is in focus. You need to make sure that your face is well lit. Of course, I have a hat on right now, so my face isn't that well lit. But typically, you'd want to make sure that your face is at least decently well lit, right? Yeah, you want to make sure your face isn't like super dark too. Okay, dark, out of focus, that kind of thing. And all of these things, when you hit on all of these things, you don't need like it's a threshold. Remember, you don't need all of these things to be 10 out of 10. You just need them to be like 6 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, depending on the threshold, right? But as long as they meet that threshold of all those things that I just talked about, you're fine. Okay, past that, you are absolutely wasting your time. And guess what meets all of those thresholds? A freaking iPhone. An iPhone meets every single one of those thresholds. In fact, iPhones are insanely good when it comes, like even if you have terrible lighting, iPhones will just automatically, using the AI, they'll make your face, the facial lighting look decent, right? So like an iPhone, like I've actually used an iPhone in the studio. I put the iPhone in front of the camera and then just used it instead of the camera. And it looked almost the same. I mean, there's slight differences, but I mean, this is a professional camera I'm using, but I've used an iPhone before and it was absolutely killer, right? And so, yeah, an iPhone, if you want to use the audio from the iPhone, you will have to run it through something like Adobe Podcast to make the audio sound better. You might also consider using some additional audio like the Go Rode Video Mic Pro, the Rode Go, something like that, right? Rode products are pretty good. So yeah, all of those things, make sure you meet that minimum viable video standard. And whenever a minimum viable video, whenever you record a video like that, it should take you, like, especially if you're getting down to the point where you don't have a lot of time to make videos, right? You're only 2 weeks ahead. You don't have a lot of time to make videos. Whenever that happens, you need to basically lower your standard for how much time you're going to take on the video. So let me give you an example. I remember I was getting a little behind on videos, and I found a good idea using the icon method. I found a good idea for the degrees that create the most millionaires, and I think another one, the degrees that most people regret. Okay, so I found this idea. I made the video on it. And the both of them did extremely well. Now, these were dead simple videos. Literally, I just found an article that talked about this stuff, that had sources, and it said, like, these are the degrees that create the most millionaires. And then I just basically read the article, and I gave my opinion on the article. It was literally that simple. I didn't even write a script for it. I just looked at the article and I'm like, all right, the next one is number 9 on the list, economics or something, right? And then I just gave my opinion on this. Like, yeah, this one makes a lot of sense. Like, you understand the economy, blah, 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 right? That's it. That's it. And that video got like, I think 300, 400,000 views, right? It did extremely well. That video took me a total of probably 10, 20 minutes to make. Okay. So when you get behind, you need to start thinking like this. How can I make a video very quickly and just get it up, right? Once you're far ahead, then you can start thinking, okay, let's see if we can add some other things. Let's see if we can edit this a little bit better. Let's see if we can mess around with this. Let's see if we can make the script more robust, blah, 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 right? These are the types of things you can start thinking once you're far ahead. Now, I stayed consistent on my YouTube channel when it was just me doing everything on the channel. I stayed consistent 3 videos a week, even when it was just me. But with that being said, the next part is to get help, right? Get help, okay? Not the Michael Jordan meme, but get people to help you, right? Get a video editor. That's probably going to be your first hire, someone who can help you edit the videos, especially if you're editing a little more extensively. But keep in mind, like, I really do think that like minimalist editing it's really making a comeback, because people like to just watch other people just talk off the top of their head, especially if they're experts, and just give their opinion and give their insights, almost like as if we were having a conversation with each other, right? People enjoy watching that, almost like it was a live stream. And people really like that. I feel like it makes them much more engaged in many ways. At least a lot of people do. Some people don't. Some people need, they have the attention span of a goldfish and they need to be entertained every 5 seconds. But yeah, so the next thing is to get help, right? Get people to help you video edit, etc. You might get people to help you write scripts, although script writing is so easy now, especially with AI. Whether you're just making bullet points, whether you're talking off the top of your head, kind of like I am in this video, or whether you are writing, like doing things word for word and you're reading from a teleprompter, or you're doing things kind of semi word for word and you have like a script off to the side on your phone or off to the side of the camera, whatever you choose to do, like Claude AI is so good at helping people write scripts. And then of course, my clients get like some of the absolute best prompts that there is. And then they even get access to, actual software. And yeah, so you really should, like, you probably don't need to hire a scriptwriter for a long time. But video editor is definitely something that can help out. And you can have the video editor do other stuff as well. You can have them upload, optimize, etc., do all that extra stuff after they're done editing the video. And then another thing is make your recording setup as easy as possible, just like completely excuse proof. Like, you should be able to walk in, press a few buttons, and you're ready to record, right? You shouldn't have to like move lights around, set up the camera, do this, do that, get the computer set up. Like, you need to make it as easy as possible for you to just walk in, press a few buttons, start recording, stop the recording, and then upload it to a Google Drive, and then it gets taken care of, right? So make your recording setup as easy as possible. One easy way to do this is with something like OBS. So we use OBS. That's what I'm using right now to record this video. So OBS allows you to basically record directly into your computer. So I don't have to transfer any files or anything like that. Also, if the video is messing up, I know because I can see it, right? I can see my video right there. I can see it right there. So if the video is messing up, I know immediately, and I can just stop the recording, figure out what's going wrong, and hopefully, pretty soon it won't be messing up very much. But yeah, this is something that a lot of my clients have issues with, by the way. I should probably mention this. I've done this with clients like Thomas, for instance. He was already a 7-figure business owner, and he wanted to scale to 8 figures, but he was spending way too much time on YouTube. So we basically fully automated his YouTube channel to where he's not spending any time at all on YouTube, on his YouTube channel. He even has other people recording the videos. And because of that, he was able to free up more time and scale to 8 figures and grow, his entire business. Thomas was a coach as well. Davis, when we first started with him, he was barely making any money whatsoever on YouTube. It was actually listed in other on his money sources, his revenue sources. And then YouTube actually became his biggest revenue source, and he scaled to over 7 figures doing that. Davis was a consultant. Sean, when we first started with him, he was stuck like 10 to 30K per month. He was a coach. And we helped him scale all the way to 500K per month within 9 months. Actually, above 500, I think he did like 650,000 last month. And that's cash collected, by the way. That's not accounts receivable. So accounts receivable, he's probably doing like pretty close to $1 million a month. Felix as well. Felix was having trouble just consistently putting out videos. We helped him optimize his setup and do better with the videos. He's able to just put out massive amounts of content now, like sometimes 3 videos a day, 7 videos a day. Plus he does live streams. Plus he puts out, he's just a content machine now. And he was able to scale to 1.3 million a month. When we first started working with him, he was ranging from like, usually doing about 300K a month. He had a couple months that were like 700K, but now he's absolutely crushing it. And so, all these people had the same issues, which was basically they didn't have a consistent system to consistently record content. And that's really the crux of all this. Like all these other things, it goes back to the same thing, which is you need to have a system to consistently record content that doesn't take that much of your time, right? And it doesn't take that much of your energy or your effort as well. And, after that, by the way, you can also have a system that repurposes your content on other platforms as well, once you've really got YouTube nailed. But that's the biggest thing, is just having systems, right? A system for recording, a system for writing scripts, a system for video editing, a system, like all these different things. And then you can put people, once you have a system set up, which we teach people how to do, you can then put people in those different positions to do those tasks for you. And really the only thing you have to do if you want to have a personal brand is to record the video. Everything else can be taken care of for you, right? And so this is exactly what we've done with a bunch of clients that we've worked with. So if you want to know, by the way, kind of like a crash course way of making YouTube videos just to get started, this is designed to do on your own, but it's a way to do things very quickly just to get started. I'll put that down in the description and the pinned comment below. You can check it out. I probably should have put that earlier in the video. And if you really want to set up this system, if you really want to figure out how to get consistent on YouTube, because honestly, I haven't really been stressed out by YouTube hardly at all in the last 5 years, because I'm just always like at least 2 weeks ahead. Sometimes I'm a month ahead. Sometimes I'm 2 months ahead. Right now, because I'm planning on doing a lot of traveling this year, I'm actually 4.5 months ahead on my main YouTube channel. Don't tell anyone on the main YouTube channel. Now, this channel, I'm usually not that far ahead on because I make more like raw, authentic, kind of unfiltered content on this channel. But on my main channel, I'm really far ahead. And so, it's I'm almost never stressed out by my channel because I'm always so far ahead on it. And that's what I want to happen to you, right? I've been able to grow a channel to over 1 million subscribers, barely any stress, because I'm always just like at least 2 weeks ahead on it. And I just batch record content, and I have a great system for recording. So if you want to learn how to do that, book a call with us down in the description and the pinned comment below. We not only teach you how to do the system, but we teach you how to do it correctly in a high level way to where you're making videos on the right ideas that are very likely to take off. And then we can either teach you how to hire yourself, or we can actually hire for you people to run the system. And these are people that, it doesn't cost very much. They're very affordable, and they can run the system at a very high level for you as well. So that's basically what we do. Book a call with us down in the description, the pinned comment below if you're interested. And also check out Sean's video where we go over exactly how he was able to scale from 30K per month to over 500K per month within 9 months by clicking right there.